Alrighty, boys. As you can see on the screen, Nutcare has brought out some. I've got an email here from Nutcare saying you wanted it, we've provided it. They've actually brought out a limited edition to go along with Bear Nuts. It's called Bear Butt. Timmy, I feel like you might be in the line for some bear butt.
Are we talking a baby's bottom type bear butt?
I'm feeling like that's what it is. So you can see it comes in a delicious little silver tube, but complements your bear nuts nicely. So that's why us at Any Given Sunday, we are proud to be supported by Australia's fastest growing men's grooming brand, Nutcare. They will and always are the number one for downstairs. And I feel like on the back end, they're going to be number one down there as well. So proudly Australian, Nutcare is taking down under grooming to the modern day man. Recently voted number one by Men's Health with Bear Nuts and soon to be Bear Butts. Public pubic hair removal cream. Nutcare is revolutionising men's grooming. As proud supporters of Any Given Sunday, Nutcare is offering 10% off to our listeners on your first order, just using our promo code as it is for all our sponsors, the code Any Given Sunday. The discount will be applied at checkout. Nutcare is essential grooming for us men, boys. And
Great read.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bear nuts and bear butts. Bear nuts and bear butts, baby.
Brown 45! Brown 45! Hot, 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 hot!
You are listening to Any Given Sunday, Australia.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast, the number one podcast in at least 3 households, 1 studio, up in Winnipeg, over in Miami, which I'll bring up now while we're talking about it, Danny. We did interview Dylan Joyce, the Miami punter. We'll put that out later on this week, but I'm only bringing him up because he's actually playing right now. Before we come on and come on live on YouTube, Cards, which you'll be all over, I was actually just watching him against UNC. He's unfortunately down, but he's had, since I last left it, he had 4 punts, 2 of them inside the 20. So he's dominating. It's a good little chat that me and you had, Danny. That'll be out on Tuesday. So make sure you keep all over that. Joining us as always, I've already given it away, down in his basement where we're not sure. TC24 at Tim Cardy, AGSAU. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Pumped for a big day of football tomorrow. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
might actually watch some.
Exactly. We're into our second of our records for the week as we're going down to the 30 to 45 minute review and preview episodes. And we are we live on YouTube? Did it work?
Yeah, we're in. I'm talking. I think it's either Wayno or Cecilia, but I'm pretty sure it'd be Wayno in the comments saying g'day.
Beautiful. I'm sure Megs will come on soon, and we'll have plenty more as well, I'm sure. Also, just joining us, it's been a little bit crook the last few days, but he's got up and about, our first-year man into second-year man, at Danny Webb, AGSAU. How are you, mate?
I'm surviving. I'm here, and I'm surviving, that's for sure. Just wanted to give a quick shout-out, though, to you. We'll name all the places that were massive. Apparently, the New South Wales coast got a phone call last night from an anonymous source who was out there while wearing his Any Given Sunday merch, was out there and got pointed out being like, I love that podcast. So shout out to Mitchie for pointing out the merch. Also get some merch yourself.
No.
Love the fact that you love the podcast.
That is a great segue that I was about to bring up. Is our merch shop. I'm rocking the Packers. Danny, you've got the Eagles on. Carter's gone the old school jumper, the old school hoodie. Make sure you hit it. Danny, what's the website?
anygivensunday.dustautomat.com.
It's in the link tree. Follow the link tree.
Yep, that's it. Link tree, all over it. We are going to fire into our week. We're actually going to go back and review a quick review on the Broncos and Chiefs game. I don't know if you boys got to see it. It'll only be a quick review. I don't know if you got to see it. I thought it was going to be a bit more of a blowout than what it was. It ended up being 19-8 in the Chiefs' favour. Mahomes, off the top of my head, was like 30 or 40 for 306 with only 1 touchdown and an interception. I don't think he actually looked incredible. The only thing is he was playing Russell Wilson, who threw for 97 yards and looked like an absolute Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh. He looked crap.
He
He looked terrible. Did you boys see the game, and what do you think?
Yeah, so Mahomes has actually come out and says, luckily their defense is playing great. Otherwise, they were going to be absolutely nowhere in this game. The Chiefs incredibly struggled on their third downs and just couldn't convert in the red zone. It's definitely something you can't really be doing. The only positive is obviously Taylor Swift was there, so Kelsey went off
He
at
did.
124 yards. And the only reason the scoreline's looking the way it is because there was 4 field goals. 4 field goals and 1 touchdown. Normally wouldn't be enough to get past most teams, but the Broncos stink. So, cruise back.
Harrison Butker, he had a huge game. I think it was a 60-yarder and a 52-yarder, and it was pretty windy. I didn't get to watch the game. I was pretty tied up at work.
Yes, you did have a busy day in the tools.
That's okay. I've seen a bit of stuff reviewing the game and things like that, and it's kind of good. Mahomes has come out and acknowledged that, yeah, I'm not playing that great. I've seen a fair bit of stuff on the internet, like just as the weekend sort of gone on, of the stats, and they're cherry-picked stats, but it's like touchdowns for the year, interceptions for the year, obviously the win-loss record, but maybe another stat comparing Mahomes and Wilson, and Wilson has actually got the better of him, but obviously they're 1-5 and the Chiefs are 5-1. So a lot of people are trying to say, if Wilson had a defense, like the Broncos had a defense, maybe Wilson would be looking a lot better, this and that, right? But like they're cherry picked stats. Like Mahomes isn't playing that great at the moment, but man, Russell ain't able to hold a candle to Patty Mahomes.
No, he's not tying his boots at the moment, is he?
I don't think so.
No, and like they're winning dirty, like your birds, Danny. They're winning dirty, but they're winning. So who really cares?
I think they care. It's definitely come out that Mahomes has said the offense needs to be better, and they just definitely need to start converting, especially in that red zone. And it's just a testament to how good their defense actually, the Broncos defense improved from previous weeks. So they were getting 30 points minimum dropped on them every week. And then this week managed to only have 19 dropped on them. Slight improvement.
And was it 3 sacks as well? So they were getting to Mahomes.
Yeah, there was definitely a few sacks in there. Mahomes just, I don't know. Obviously, it's not going to fall all on him, but the offense it just looks real muddy. I think is probably the best way to put it.
That is a very nice word for him. It just didn't connect. He did get the score to Kadarius Toney, which for those that had him in the fantasy or punting game earlier in the year, that would have been handy. But he finally got his catch. I think it was 3 catches for 30 yards. But like you said, he's not his wet blanket. His safety blanket was there, 126 yards for Kelsey, who just seems to be going up and up as this relationship that I don't like keep mentioning it, but it seems to be working.
But when you highlight,
I think we need to start mentioning it more and more. The more we say Swift or Swifties, I think our algorithm's just going. Swift right up.
We can tap into the Swifty market. Look out! But I think when you isolate just the plays and things that Kelsey was involved in, I think particularly the first half, he might have dropped off second half a little bit. I think I'm not too sure, but he obviously the Mahomes Kelsey connection is great, but like you said, just not really finding other avenues like with the wide receivers and that yet.
Shout out to Rashid Rice. He did go. I think it was 7 catches for 76 yards. But it's pretty good for
kind of that like revolving door of like who's wide receiver one. Like you don't really know week to week there. So, but they'll figure it out. Like that. Traditionally, they don't really cover that often, especially first half of the season. The Chiefs and while they're still sort of, I guess teams like to say figuring out who they are and all that sort of stuff. Like they're still winning, so that's all good. But like Danny alluded to, like Mahomes is across that. We need to get better on offense. Like we're starting to blow the cobwebs out. Like let's start to kick into gear a little bit. Which it's the Chiefs and Andy Reid. Like no doubt that they will.
And they're only covered by that field goal. Like there was 2 minutes left in the game.
Right at the end.
Just to make sure they sealed it and just keep all the punters happy.
Yeah.
Those punters don't care as long as it is. And just before we're going to move on to the news for the week, I don't know if you heard, but since we have been mentioning Swift, the AGS merchandise has gone up by 400%. So that's huge.
Fantastic.
Good for us.
Love to hear that.
Probably need to have a Swift style shirt. Maybe it's something we can work on off air.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. We're going to move on to the news, which is, of course, brought to you by our good partners at C2C Rare Threads. If you're up on the Gold Coast and watching, they do have an open day today. So get around them. Find them on Instagram. They have it's their grand opening. They've acquired a shop. I think it's not. Is it Cavalav, the main avenue up in the Gold Coast? I believe it's on there. So get around these guys. 10% off online with the code Any Given Sunday. But the news, Danny, how are you actually feeling? Are you right to talk? It's the main news is really just updating any of the injuries that we do have going forward.
Yeah, so I've got very few notes on this, as I have been quite under the weather.
You've been a sick boy.
No, but some major ones is Daniel Jones is still out with his neck injury. Sean Watson's not playing on Sunday, and Jalen Carter, which is a big hit for me in multiple ways because I jumped on him for Defensive Rookie of the Year very early.
Ooh.
But he's out with an ankle injury. Hopefully, he'll be back the following week. But yeah, not looking good.
That Daniel Jones one's interesting. We saw Stafford last year missing with that neck concussion kind of injury and missed the majority of the year. You hope to think it's not something that serious, is it?
It was a pretty nasty crunch. I don't know if you've gone back and actually watched it. It didn't look good. I wouldn't want to be in the position that he's in right now, and it's not looking incredibly hopeful.
Anything with your sort of neck and that sort of region too, they're going to be pretty conservative with and make sure things are all A1 before they get you back. But I thought the Deshaun one was interesting, cleared by the doctors, but he doesn't feel right, so not playing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is a bit interesting. Like he's got that guaranteed contract, so he's getting paid. But
that is always the issue, isn't it? Like he's getting paid to be there or not to be there. So
yeah,
he's not going to rush back if he doesn't feel right. So interesting.
Yeah.
Good point, Timothy. Good point. The other small little news article that I wanted to bring up, only because we talked about it the other day, George Kittle's been fined $13,500.
This is good shit talking. I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be more.
I think, if he does it again, which he has put up a post saying, I will do it again.
Absolutely, he will.
It goes up every time. So I think you mentioned the socks the other week.
This would have been in a much earlier, maybe in like a Nuffy segment, but it used to be, like if your socks were the wrong, I think too much sock showing, towel in the wrong position, like things like that. Yeah. Like you can get fined pretty easily for uniform infractions and things like that. So I just thought because he had the full fuck written on it, I thought straight away that would be a bigger sort of penalty. But because you saw Micah Parsons came out on his podcast and he was a little bit butthurt about it, not too bad, a little bit butthurt. But then I saw a couple of other guys come out and said, look, we let him get into the end zone. He got in there 3 times. He can do whatever he wants. And so he had no issue with it. Whoever, I can't remember who the other Cowboy player was, but yeah, it's good. And it just feeds into the rivalry, and it's I reckon it's good.
Yeah, if they do see each other again, it'll be delicious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and someone asked if he was going to do it again this week. I can't remember who they're playing, but someone said is he going to do it again this week? He's like, no, they're not our rivals. Our rivals are Dallas.
They got the Browns.
They got the Browns. It's like, why would I do that?
Yeah, why would I do that against the Browns?
I don't need to kick any extra shit on the Browns. They do that to themselves enough.
They don't even want to play.
Yeah.
But the main point I have is that he said he'd definitely do it again against Dallas, which is great. I love it. Feed into the rivalry. Make it bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. And the socks I was trying to get at, Katz, was Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's only worn ankle socks all year. He's up to over $100,000 in fines. Oh,
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that. So there you go. So
he wears like a cuff.
So snowballs every week, I guess.
Yeah, I think first infraction, second, it just gets bigger and bigger. And he put up a post. He's like, $100,000 for socks. You joking me?
Okay.
He's like, I got paid $50 million. $100,000's nothing. But
yeah.
Come on.
Just quickly too, just in the chat, we've got a couple of people just wanting a bit of a welfare check, making sure we're not working you too hard, Danny, and you're feeling okay. So just there's a bit of concern for you in the chat, which is good to see.
Who's the concerned party?
Megs and Brenton Webb. I think that's how you say it.
Brenton.
I think it's Brendo. Yeah.
That's good, mate. Are you all right? They are concerned. Our family's concerned.
Thank you for making it down for the app, mate. Well done.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, everyone.
Another shout out for some of the fam. It was good. I enjoy, Danny. We had it the other day at the Pro Kick where the fam come up to us and say how much they love the podcast. But getting down and meeting one of our number one fans, Jimmy, the other night, that was huge for me, just to meet him for the first time and get around him. So welcome, Jimmy. It was
Jerry.
Yeah, I got to meet the man, shake his hand. He's bigger man than me. So.
I picked up Webby and Bam Bam this morning, and Jimmy Ferry walked out. He had the AGS quarter zip on, so he was looking very fly.
Yeah, he's a good man. So
yeah.
I was very happy to meet him.
He's been a fan for a very long time, and also helped us out a lot. So huge props to Jimmy.
Good boy, Jim.
Chef's kid. I do have it's not an official question without notice, but it is a question without notice. It goes back to your injury news. The Justin Jefferson 4 to 6 week injury, right? So my sources are telling me it's closer to the 6 than it is to the 4. So that's we're into week 12 by then. I'm not sure when their bye is, but I want you to be Justin Jefferson here. So let's say they win maybe 2 or 3 of those. So they're going to be 3 and 7. Yeah, yes, I agree, especially from me. But let's say they're 4 and 6, 3 and 7 kind of numbers. Are you going to rush back? They're not making playoffs.
Yeah. So just on that, with a hamstring, you're never going to rush back from an injury because it's very, very quick to re-injure, and then you'll be out for even longer again. You'll be sitting out for another 6 weeks. So it's definitely going to be 100% post that 6 week mark. If they do go down, well, let's say they only win 2 games, like you're saying, in those 6 weeks, and you go down to 3 and 7, he'll still probably come back just to keep on getting the reps, but you're not going to be pushing anywhere near as hard.
So they've got the bye week 13, it looks like. So that might be at the end of, like you said, at the end of that 6 weeks. Is that then another week? By that time, we're into week 14. 5 games left. Probably not playing in the postseason. Is it worth it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he? It probably depends on his contract situation.
I think he's in a contract year, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I'd have to.
He's getting paid anyway.
He's
exactly right. He's going to get paid, but like you're still, I don't know. You're probably right. He's probably done enough that he doesn't need to prove anything. If it's going to be that he's staying at the Vikings or moving on, I reckon it's going to depend what's happening at that quarterback position for them next year. What he's going to do as well. Whether he moves on or sticks around.
Yeah.
If he's in
it has come out because there's a lot of noise about Kirk possibly going somewhere else that is, maybe the Jets, one of your biggest fans, Danny. But I don't think he's officially come out, but like the Team 3 kind of Russell, they've kind of put out and said, I will, because he's got a no trade clause. So it's on him anyway. But he's come out and said, I will not be waiving my no trade clause. So he's going to be Vikings 100% till the end of the year. But yeah, it's definitely after that will be the big news, big stories at the end of the year. And AGS will be all over it.
It's hard. It's hard with Kirk because he is such like a loyal family man. Will he just feel like he's betraying the Vikings by leaving him?
Yeah, I get like you said, he won't go this year. But if they're going to want him to move in a new direction, he's definitely going to feel like he's got more football in him too.
35. So he's getting on the older side.
I still definitely think he feels like he's got more in him though.
Yeah.
So, and
he's a smart, like if you look back over his career, he's been very business savvy. Like when he was at the Commanders, he played out his rookie contract and then he was doing single year contracts. He might have even been franchise tagged like 3 or 4 times. So it was up, 30, 40, $50 million. But he just kept backing himself until he got the big contract at the Vikings. So
you like that?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
He's definitely got football left in him. He still has a cutout in his house waiting for that Super Bowl trophy.
That's what I was alluding to. Yeah. He's still chasing that Super Bowl. So
he definitely backs himself. All right. Let's get into some game previews. Who's going to go first?
I can if you want.
You can? All right. Who have you got, mate?
Cool. I'm going to do the Colts and the Jags, little AFC South rivalry. It's actually the completion of their little series this year. They faced off in round 1. So round 1 and week 6, it's a pretty quick turnaround for, facing your interdivisional rival again.
Yes, sir.
The Jags obviously took the chocolates week 1. And then that was at Indy. They're in Jacksonville this time. I think Indy haven't won on the road in Jacksonville since 2014. It's like the Duval curse or, whatever it is. A lot of the predictions around the league are heavily in favor of the Jags. I think it'll be a closer game than probably what some people think, but I reckon the Jags will probably get on top. But it's going to come down to the Jags defense is really strong against the running game. Obviously, they got Jonathan Taylor back, and Moss was really productive in the last couple of weeks. But with AR still out, Anthony Richardson's still out. Is he? What is it this week? It's his strained AC joint or sprained AC joint or whatever he's got at the moment. So the Minshew mania continues. Gardner Minshew's going to take over as QB1 for the Colts. So he won't be as like potentially dynamic as what AR might be like down the field with long passes. But he'll be a good little, like, you know, he does his thing, his little system quarterback. He'll move him up the field, but he does better, Gardner, when he's complemented by a really strong running game. And the Jags defense against the run game is pretty tip top. Like, they're definitely top 10 in the league. So, and Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley, like, their connection is getting stronger and stronger. The two coming off the 2 wins in London. I think Etienne and Ridley had 100-yard plus games their second game in London last week. So the connection with Trevor and Ridley's only getting stronger. And yeah, definitely at home for the Jags. I think the Duval curse ain't going to get broke this year. The Jags are 3.5 point favorites. I think $1.50 they were paying. Yeah, $1.50. So yeah, all the money going to the Jags this year. I think it should be a pretty straightforward tip. Closer than what you think, but Jags will get it done in my mind, I reckon.
Danny, any thoughts?
Nope, I completely agree with Cards.
I reckon, like you said, the Jags, the Colts, even when they were good the last, probably 3 or 4 years ago, they'd go down to the Jags and they just couldn't get the job done.
Yeah.
Could it be a reversal?
They're definitely playing, but I think maybe if they had AR, it'd be a different story. He's
a good game manager, Gardner, though.
I was going to say, don't get me wrong, Minshew's good, and like I said, he's even better when he's complemented with a good running game, and just the Jags defense against the run game is pretty top notch. So
yeah,
if the Jags defense can stand up and have a day, then I think that the Jags will get it done. Minshew will be serviceable. He'll be good. He'll take him down the field, and they'll get a couple of touchdowns. But I think Trevor and Ridley and Etienne are going to have. I think they're going to have a bit of a day too.
Yeah, especially at home. And I agree with that. I reckon if he hasn't already, a breakout game for Calvin Ridley this week.
Yeah, mate. He's just been trending the right way the last few weeks. Their connection's only getting stronger.
Yeah. Coming back from London, they'll be cherry ripe.
Will be cherry ripe, yeah. I think that's 4 a.m. Monday morning. Our time.
Beautiful.
The game. For anyone on the DAZN, don't forget to follow our link through the link tree. Get on DAZN. And yeah.
Nice. Danois, who are you got, mate?
So I am going to do the Seahawks as they head into Cincinnati.
Just be careful. Heads up. Megan's in the chat. So
Megs is going to be all over this.
So all right. Block your ear, Megs, for this one. The Seahawks have not won in Cincinnati since 1993.
You're joking.
Obviously, they don't travel there that much, but still, that is a very long time to not have a win. But the Seahawks are 3-1. They have been playing quite well. They've won 4. Well, they've gone for the chance to win 4 straight games. So they lost their first and then won 3 since then. Cincy just 2-3, but they have started to turn it around a little bit since their slow start, especially with last week's game with Burrow throwing for 36 for 46 for 317 yards. Chase had 15 of those receptions for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. His highlight package was ridiculous. So the Bengals.
I'm always fucking open.
Yeah.
All you got to do is carry on and you get the ball.
Yeah. Obviously, they'll play the Cardinals. Seahawks have a much better defense. I think they're ranked 5th in the league for sacks, but also the Bengals are ranked 4th in the league for sacks. So it's going to be probably a very defense-heavy game. But then you've got 2 absolute dominant quarterbacks with Geno going up against Joe Burrow. I reckon this is potentially up there for one of the games of the weeks, and that's why I definitely wanted to preview it. Cincy at home are 2.5-point favorites. I am completely on the fence with this, and I haven't actually made a full decision until right this second, and I'm going to take the Bengals at 2.5. But it is tough. It is definitely a tough one.
Oh, I agree, man. I'm torn. I've got soft spots for both these teams. I want to see them both do well. I like what the Bagels are about. But the Seahawks, Gino's my boy. I love what they're about too. Man, that's a tough game. What was the line? 2.5.
2.5 to Cincy. And mind you, like I said, Seahawks haven't won since 1993.
Yeah, and like you said, they wouldn't have played there that often. But
were you born in '93, Danny?
I was -1 for those playing at home.
for those playing at home. Shit, that's a hard one, man. Like obviously, yeah, Joey B starting to feel good. Like that calf's coming good. He's been alluding to it in press conferences, starting to feel good. Woo! I don't know, Macca.
Yeah, it's. I was hoping you didn't throw to me.
I know that's hard. It's hard.
You have to go Cincy purely because it's at home, I think. But that 2.5 line just feels
I think that'll
pretty
be
much bang on.
Yeah, I think that like a field goal essentially. Yeah, I think that'd be the edge that would tip me over is the home field advantage.
Yeah,
in the natty, all the fans.
Jamar Chase to have another day out.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like Chase coming off last week, like he's up and
He's
about.
feeling himself. He's feeling good.
Yeah, the other thing with the Seahawks as well, I think in the past 3 years, they haven't won after their bye.
Well, that's true. Yeah, coming off the bye.
Why'd you leave that out for? Cincinnati all the way.
Because I want you both to pick first before I give you all the information.
I like it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, you guys, you can. I'll go and move on to my game. I've got the Monday night game, which while I just do this, I'll let you guys pick, and then I'll give you all the information. So I've got the Chargers and the Cowboys on the Monday Night Football, or Tuesday for us. Cowboys 3-2, but coming off a 42-10 spanking from the 49ers. Chargers 2-2 off the bye. And then I was just saying to Carts before we got on while Danny was having a little of a nap, that having the Monday night as well, they've got that's an enormous bye, or like enormous bye off. Like it's almost 2.5 weeks off
for the Chargers.
For the Chargers. So if they're not ready for this game, then they'll never be ready for this game. There's some stats so the Cowboys are 16th in offense against the 12th ranked defense for the Chargers. So they're better against the passing offense too, the Chargers, than they are the rushing offense. So I feel like that'll play well against, Dak coming off 3 interceptions, and might be able to play into his psyche a little bit. But obviously the 6th ranked defense of the Cowboys. So they're actually the number 1 defense for takeaways and, well, they might not be takeaways, but scores from takeaways. They've got 4 scores, with 3 of them being pick sixes and 1 a fumble return touchdown. Kellen Moore's first game against his old squad. I think he'll be wanting to come out and prove, that he's moved on and bigger and better things and bigger and better offenses. I can see you having a little bit of a chuckle there, Carts. Obviously something on the Insta order, the live stream.
Megan's just going hard.
Yeah, perfect. Herbert 6-6 in prime time, but he's won his last 3 Monday nights. So I feel like that comes into it a bit. But Dallas are 9-1 since 2021 after coming off a loss. So, yeah, I think this is another kind of game. It's a 1.5 point line to the Cowboys, even though it's in SoFi. But they do have Eckler and Derwin James. Looks like they're coming back for the Chargers just to really strengthen both sides of the ball. So I'm kind of leaning towards the Chargers actually getting the job done, but mainly because I was such a hater on the Cowboys last week, calling them pretenders. So.
and you got called out for it as well on Twitter.
Yeah,
which is so good. Yeah, which is so good. Jotchy boy absolutely lit you up. But yeah, Dallas do bounce back really strong. Like you said, they're 9-1 after coming back off a loss. And I think they were somewhat embarrassed by the 49ers and the domination that they put on, which, because obviously it was touted to be one of the best games so far of the season, and it never lived up to that. So I think Dallas might come in really hot and really strong. As long as Dak doesn't have too many turnovers, I reckon Dallas are actually going to get this one done. If they don't, they're going to fall to 3-3, which is not where Dallas fans thought they were going to be at this point in the season.
No.
Yeah, and
before you do go on, Carts, last time they played 32-18 for the Cowboys early last year.
Okay. Yeah, in your analysis, it's good. You could kind of make the stats work to convince yourself either way for the Chargers or the Cowboys. Like for the Cowboys, it's the comeback game. You got to bounce back after a big loss. Chargers are coming off a bye. They're rested. They're on a 2-game streak. You can kind of, it's definitely a pick 'em game with the line at, what'd you say, 1.5?
1.5.
I think it's more for where the expectations are and like where the season's at. It's more important for the Cowboys to win. So I think off the back of that, they'll be super, super hungry, particularly that defense. Like that, this is a big bounce back game for them. So I think you got to take. I'd take the Cowboys this week for sure.
You say it's super important as far as getting the win and being 3-3, but I feel like if the Chargers are 2-3 in their division, they're kind of falling away from the Chiefs a fair bit. They want to kind of stick on their tail if they want to be any chance of scraping it off them.
And that's the thing. It's hard. You're in a pretty locked down division there with the Chiefs. So I know, I agree. Like you said, you can make it work either way. Like make it important. Like we need to stay in touch with the Chiefs, and then for like I said, for the Cowboys, it's got to be that bounce back game for the defense and for Dak after last week's performance. But for me,
huge game either way, and like a great Monday Night Football game. Really, I think it could be like the under over is 51. I reckon it could be well blown out, even with the good defense.
Ooh, okay.
But Karts, you mentioned earlier you had a couple of other games you just wanted to highlight
just a couple of other games to note of the weekend that might be interesting to watch. We've got the Vikings taking on the Bears in Chicago, both 1-4. Divisional game there, so that could be interesting. Hopefully they beat the shit out of each other for you. You'd love that. The Saints traveling down to Houston, take on the Texans. The Texans have been exceeding expectations this year so far, but the Saints have just been quietly ticking along, winning a few more games than probably what people might have expected to. So not a bad one to watch there. And then just lastly, the Lions heading down to Miami, taking on Tampa Bay. Tampa coming off the bye, 4-1, I think, and then the Lions are 5-1. So a couple of teams going really well. The Lions, like people kind of predicted that they'd be strong this year, but like they actually are strong this year. So be cool to get around them and hopefully watch their wagon roll on.
It's 4-1 and 3-1.
3-1, there you go. Close enough.
Week 6, yeah.
Close enough. I knew that.
He's already given them a win.
One loss. But I've given them both another win. But
just on some other notable games, the 49ers are taking on the Browns. 49ers are still 5-0. Are they going to keep that? They're probably going to go 6-0, especially playing the Browns without Sean Watson. And then the other undefeated team, which I feel like deserves a little bit of a mention, the Eagles are taking on the Jets.
Jets. Just to really make sure the Jets fans hate you, mate. Get into it. Come on.
I just really hope we win. I want to be 6-0 so bad, especially because it's against the Jets.
Flexing on the Twitters.
And it is going to be tough. It is going to be tough against the Jets because
where is it?
You're at Jet Life. At Jet Life.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. Yeah. In other notable games, I don't have any. Nice. But that does bring us nicely into the fast becoming number one segment, the lock of the week. For anyone out there,
you need to make a
hit us up with some. Is it going to be punishments or are we rewarding the winner?
No, it'll be punishments for the loser.
All right, let's find. Hit us up on the Instagrams, the Twitters, YouTube lives. Some punishments for the loser, which currently you're both equal, aren't you? But we do have a special guest joining us, Karts. Do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, so Charlie joined us a couple of weeks for a special Bonanza big long ep. But he's going to jump in and enter a lock of the week every week. So I've got his for this week. He's going to do 2 because he's playing a little bit of catch up because he missed a couple of weeks, obviously. So he's
no more catch ups after this. It's 1 a week after this.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. So he's taking the Bills against the Giants and the Dolphins against the Panthers. So he hasn't gone too agricultural, to be fair. He's gone pretty down the line. But
down the line.
Hey, that's right. He's playing catch-up, so that's okay in my book.
Yeah. Danny's already picked the Niners and got the tick.
No. Danny took the Chiefs. In our review it, Danny took the Chiefs.
Sneaky little last second. I'm going to go Chiefs.
Yeah. No, Danny took the Chiefs. Again, not really going out on a limb too much there, but fair play to you. TMac?
I have a question for you. It sounds like you're running this, so I'll go throw to you. Can two people pick the same team?
They can. As long as you're not selecting the same team back to back. No, you can. You can both take the same one because you can. Then you both.
Right. Yeah, because I think the Giants are the worst team in football. So I went the Bills, even though they're coming back from London, playing the way they played and not getting the chocolates. I reckon this is a big game.
Playing the Giants, mate. That's all you need to say.
All right, so I got the Bills over the Giants.
All right, well, I'll mark you down. You are currently out in front on 3. Danny and myself on 2. Charlie obviously on the donut, but with his chance to catch up. And then this week, I'm taking my boys.
Whoa!
Las Vegas Raiders, baby. We're taking on the Patriots. They're a rabble at the moment. Mac Jones is terrible. They're losing players to injuries. We're going to absolutely boat race them this week. So lock it in.
I love them. I did, baby. We were picking this as we were talking earlier, and you had a bit of a chuckle. And I wonder where he's going.
I thought you'd like it. Well, we're not exactly setting the world alight, but we're coming off a win. So, and I said we're coming into a nice little run here. So I've got to put my money. I'm going to put my money where my mouth.
So, all right, boys. Nice. Knocked it out in 36 minutes. Danny, you, mate, for someone who is coming off a little bit of illness and said 2 minutes beforehand, I'm not prepared, you absolutely smashed it out of the park, mate. So all kudos to you for getting up and about.
I just love football, so I'll always get around.
Yeah, nice. I have converted a few people on station, and I said, Danny Webb, he was a basketball nuffy and now doesn't even watch basketball. So
fully taken him.
Very, very true. Got a DAZN membership and cancelled my NBA League Pass.
Get in DAZN, boy.
Yes, like Cart said earlier, make sure you check out our LinkedIn. That'll send you to all the places.
Linktree.
That's what I said, Linktree. That'll send you to our merch store where you can get some of your teams and other teams' merch. Instagram, Twitter, or X, YouTube. It'll send you everywhere. But make sure you do get around the DAZN.
Are we on the TikTok still?
Yeah. Just ticking away.
We're going up. We're ticking away.
We also have I don't know if we actually made this public. We have another TikToker in the group. Danny, did we make it public that you were on TikTok as well?
I had TikTok, yeah. I had to TikTok after the Eagles went up 5-0. Everyone's seen that.
We shared his video on our pipes.
We did, yes. So make sure you get around there. It's a work experience kid on TikTok as well.
All right. Beautiful.
All right, boys. Good luck to your teams. No one's playing each other, so good luck to everyone's team. Actually, I'm on a bye, so we got the
before you were like, because I brought up the fact that I wanted to talk about the Eagles. Garth brought up the fact that I wanted to talk about the Rangers. Like, I'm going to bring up my team. It's like you're a fucking bye,
mate.
And you know what? We covered against the bye too, so don't you stress.
You bloody need the bye, that's for sure.
Thank you, mate. Let's get out of here. You start talking to all this.
Raider Nation, Raiders.